Hello, everybody. So, welcome back to the podcast. So, we are going to be filming our first installment of Indoor Tuesday today. We'll be doing two groups that we'll introduce later. Before we get started, I'm Gavin Ray.
I'm Mitchell Urban.
And we will go ahead and get started. So, before we start, the musicians list arts auditions. Go to the Instagram, like always, to go get that information. So, we're going to do some indoor groups, but today it's going to be specifically indoor winds. And I think every week we'll be changing from indoor percussion, winds, and like color guard. So eventually we'll be doing and covering all three types of the WGI spectrum. And, I'll introduce the first group. So the first group we have is Mililani Indoor Winds 2019. And I have personally never actually seen the show, so I don't know like a show name or show theme. I don't know if Mitchell does, but we're gonna cover that group today.
I'm completely. I am as new as you.
Okay, this will be cool. So I think we'll probably learn this information while we're listening and judging. And okay, so for this group, we'll be covering. I'll be doing the music and the general effect for this group, and he'll be doing the penalty points and the visual for the group. Then we'll flip-flop for Rhythm X down the road. So, we're going to start off with some basic questions like we always do. Since you are doing the visual aspect, what do you want to see movement and drill-wise here?
Well, this is basically what we're gonna say. Indoor Winds is just an indoor marching band. I know someone's gonna hate me for that, but to me that seems like. So I want to see the style. I want to see how they march. I want to see what they do, because this is a group from Hawaii. We don't really have many of those. They came to Grand Nationals in 2017. That was really cool to hear about. And from what I've heard from watching like a video that Flow March did on their band, with their band director and everything, because it's first time coming to Nats from Hawaii.
That's crazy.
That they they do band a lot different on the islands than on the mainland. I'm looking to see just a strong lower body. I want to see the expression that these performers will perform with, because I really haven't seen an indoor wind show ever. Well, yeah, I've seen little bits and pieces, but I haven't really watched a total show. So I'm looking to see the emotional appeal that they have in these.
Yeah, especially like this is a group from Hawaii. You never, like you said, we never see this, so it's like this is different. There's gonna be like some people out there like, oh, it's from Hawaii. They don't know what they're doing. I'm like, well, I want them prove the world wrong, and I'm guaranteed they proved many people wrong when they came like to the mainland and performed. So
yeah, they in fall 2017, I'm pretty certain they made Grand National semifinals. So that's a feat in and of itself.
That's crazy, because just think about it, like having to take your whole band from Hawaii on a plane trip. That is probably like. Have you ever been to Hawaii? Do you know how long that flight is?
I have not, but
I know Isaac has.
So Indiana to Los Angeles, which I would assume they went through Los Angeles, is about 3 to 4 hours, because you're going from the East Coast to the West Coast, so there's that, and then I'd say probably another 6 to 7. No, maybe let's go with 6. So about 10 hours total of plane rides.
That's and then you're jet lagged.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
I would be a mess.
Yeah, like taking that trip, you'd be really jet lagged, and it just would not be a great experience.
They had to build in like 2 days or something, like before Grand National prelims, because they needed to get used to time. I think that makes sense.
That does make sense, though. That does make sense. Okay, well, I'll move on to the next question. So, you're judging the penalties for this group. So I have a question for you. So, usually a penalty is like someone crosses the line. Do you think we'll see like really any penalties with either of these groups?
I don't think so, as from what I've heard about Mililani indoor wins, that I've heard they're pretty good in the indoor wind circuit. I mean, I'm pretty certain they made Scholastic World Finals. I'm pretty certain it's either Scholastic World or Open Class, but still, just to make finals for both those classes is a feat in and of itself. So I think that they have a pretty good understanding of it, and I think they'd be fine.
Okay, that's good. So have you've seen this show a little bit? Tell me about the costuming and the props of this group.
I'm gonna be completely real. I really haven't. I have. I mean, I thought it was cool just to say, hey, let's do it. Let's see. Because, this is a new experience for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we're both going to be figuring that out on the fly.
Yeah.
Kind of like the show choirs yesterday. Or the show choirs.
Okay, so... Yeah, we usually record these out of sync just because, depending on what we're in the mood for the day, we'll just knock it out. So today we're in the mood for indoor percussion. Or wind, sorry. Indoor wind. So, yeah, I agree. Like, when we come back and we're listening to these shows, the costuming and the props are going to be very interesting to see since I've only opened this. I only have seen, their layout when they open up. That's all I've seen because I've opened up the video. That's it.
I listened to a little bit of it a couple days ago.
Okay, so
it was interesting.
I'll hand it off to you for any questions.
So, music, because you're judging music. What do you want to hear from the sections, including the ensemble blend and intonation?
So, I've never done an indoor winds group. So, are they using mellophones?
Yes.
Okay, yay. Okay, well, obviously...
Yeah, they use marching instruments. They don't use concert, because you're still moving around like you would on a football field.
Mm-hmm.
And playing a horn on a football field is a feat in and of itself. But, I think it'd just be much easier with mellophones, so they use mellophones.
That's, I'm always fine with mellophones. So, with that...
Oh, yes, sir.
With that information, well, obviously I want the brass to sound like a drum corps. Just power me out of here. And just the overall blend of the ensemble, I want it to be beautiful, and I want the intonation to be spot on, and I want to hear overtones. Even though you're inside, I want to hear some overtones in there. I want to hear some overtones.
Sounds good. So we have not used general effect to judge yet. How are you going to do that? I'm kind of curious to hear what your thoughts are.
So I sort of see general effect as your props and how you do and how your energy. Just that's how I usually view it, and that's how some places judge it, and that's how some places don't judge it. But I view it as your energy and your overall props and your costumes and how the crowd appeals to you. It's not like a judge thing that a lot of people say that, it's always the judge thing. But I do it just based on stuff that I can see and hear. If the audience is going crazy, I'm like, okay, well then this show is sort of becoming a fan favorite. So some general effect points could go there, in my opinion. Just since it's
I'm kind of in that same boat. I feel like it's just the overall effect. I feel like it's the overall effect that the judge gets from the entire performance, from various parts of the show, as well as just at the end, just taking it all in.
Mm-hmm.
And what their thoughts are. And GE is a very important caption, I will say. So that's a whole debate in and of itself. Yeah. But it's very I think it's very objective.
Yeah.
In terms of I think it varies from judge to judge. So, how do you think the crowd is going to react by looking at the Shenanigans theme? Well,
we're having the same reaction.
Yeah, we'll be there with the crowd, we're watching, because we're watching it for the first time. So, we're going to figure that out on the fly.
Yeah, spontaneous, just, okay, now we have to figure out what that was. I might do some, redos real quick. I might pull the video back. Okay, I got to see that again, because... This is new to me, so... Well, we're going to split off in the calls and judge these two groups, and I'm doing the music and the GE, and he will be doing the visual and the penalties.
All right, sounds good.
We'll be right back. Okay, hello everybody. So this is my first time ever judging a indoor anything, and specifically we're doing indoor wins this week. So I'm doing a music and the general effect, or the overall effect as it says on my judge paper that I was given. Yeah, so I'll be writing comments that I think, and then I'll just overall be scoring them. Okay, let's get into it. WGI Finals. Okay, I like their tarp. The tarp looks cool. Costumes are interesting. They're doing some choreography right now. I really do like the costumes. It sort of just fits they're from Hawaii. I think it just sort of fits Hawaii in my opinion. With the date of my death. But what matters the most to me and the ones I love is how I spent my life and how I spent the dash before. Nice solos. There's some intonation issues there. Visual looks good. There's some intonation problems just across the board right now. I think it's just also because you're indoor, and indoor is a lot completely different than judging and being outside. You have some nice blend though. Great blend, but when there's certain instruments up at the front, they sort of stick out at times.
Get the chance to live life. What can you say at the end of it? I can see every joyous moment of my life flashing before.
I do like those props they have, the large pipes. Brass in the back of the neck. Spacing issues. Telephones, don't frack that. I heard that. Do not frack that. You guys sound great though. Could have been a little bit more trumpet there. It's very hard to march bare feet. Or barefoot. You guys I probably would not have been able to do that.
This is how I live my life.
Those runs maybe could have been a little bit more complicated. I don't know if that's how many mellophones you got, but I think those licks give clarity. Nice little ending there. You do have some great dynamics though. Some great dynamics. And I can see you're making a ton of musical choices. Is that, you know?
I looked back at the life I once lived with no regret, because I made the most of every day. Sharing these memories with the ones I love is a reminder to focus on life, not death. But for me, I've lived my life, I've lived my dash, and it's time for me to take my last breath.
You guys sound great. You guys look great. Like, you guys, honestly, I don't think I'd ever personally do an indoor group because I just see it as very difficult to do at a high level. Just bare, like some groups march bare feet like this one. Nice crescendo, but the baritone don't stick out. Don't stick out. It's very autistic in everything you do. Oh. The white tarp. Oh, that's cool. I like the tarp. Nice tarp. Look, it's like a giant silk sheet. It's cool. Doing all this movement underneath it.
Your life is made up of
That's a cool effect.
and a dash. Make the most of that dash.
And someone's out of it.
I know I did.
The audience seems to enjoy. I enjoyed that. I actually really enjoyed that. Man, I did like the tarp thing. The tarp thing was cool. Personally, like, I think that the tarp, having the tarp included was very interesting in my opinion, and I would say honestly, you guys did a lot of really great things. I've never got to watch an indoor group, and I think for my first indoor group I've ever really watched as a Wins Foley, I've only maybe watched like 20 seconds of one, and then I just turned it off because I had to go do something. But overall, that was a very interesting experience. I like that. That was great. I'll give you my scores when I'm with Mitchell.
All right, hello everyone. So today we're going to be covering, for Indoor Tuesday, we're going to be covering Mililani's high school indoor wins at WGI Finals 2019. So I'm looking forward to this because I've really never seen too much of a indoor win show. So I'm looking to see how this rolls. I've always wanted to do indoor wins because I've wanted to play mellophone my entire year. It just seems cool because I really enjoy marching band, of course, and you know this is kind of almost an add-on to marching band. So, looking forward to seeing what they bring to the table. Excuse me. I'm going to be doing the visual and the penalty, while Gavin is doing music and GE. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Looking forward to it. Alright, so very interesting costumes, very uniform.
As I lay here, at the end of my life, each breath grows deeper and wider between.
Interesting.
I can hear the passing of time from each tick of the clock, thinking back to what it all means. The dates you see will start in my birth.
Wow, okay. Really pretty flute solo. Really good job there.
Before the date of my death. And what matters the most to me
The dance is really interesting because I find that, I mean, this is more of a dancing aspect than marching band is.
how I spent the dash.
So I'm curious to see. Okay, interesting props, little flag things. Very uniform style. Interesting. I like it. Bravo. That's cool.
If you don't take the chance to live life, what can you say at the end of it? I can see every joyous moment of my life flashing before my eyes.
Wow. That is interesting choreography. That's cool. I highly doubt I would ever be able to do something like that. It just looks so flawless. It looks effortless. A little bit of a discrepancy on the carry position for the tubas. Wow. Very acrobatic. And again, yeah, I can tell that this is a lot more based on dance than marching band on the field is.
Life is lived one small moment at a time.
I really like the style that they move with, though.
This is how I lived my life.
They all move with the same style, although they use a little bit more bent leg than I do. So that's interesting to see.
I take it that all has faded away. I looked back at the life I once
Very
lived
dramatic.
with no regret, because I made the most of every day. Sharing these memories with the ones I
Wow.
love is a reminder
It's almost like a color guard. It's almost like a color guard put with brass and woodwind instruments. Just that a color guard that plays brass and woodwind while dancing. A very, very in step, in sync move of the leg. That's a great idea of what that's supposed to be. Great leg shape on that though. Wow. Huh. Sequential for sure. Interesting. Tarp, huh?
your life is made up of 2 dates and a dash. Make the most of that dash. I know I did.
Wow. Brilliant job. That was really well done. That was really cool to see what they did. I really didn't have any issues with it. I think it looked really cool, and I mean, I'm not the best dancer. I'm not I'm nowhere near good enough to be like that. But it was really crazy to see. So I'm glad that I got to see this. Thank you, Mililani, for performing this Dayton and taking us to Dayton. It was really cool to see what Hawaii has to offer. And I mean, I know that you guys are just as strong as the mainland groups, people in the continental United States. I hopefully we get to judge a field show from Mililani or Maui High School. I think that's going to be really cool if we can do that. So thank you very much for coming out here and performing this. It was a great thing to watch. And now we're going to turn it over to Gavin.
Welcome back from the judge tapes. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to that indoor wind ensemble, I shall say. I personally enjoyed it. It was my first experience and Mitchell's first experience, and we sort of talked before we started the podcast again about it, and it was really interesting and very, like, heartwarming to see some different type of stuff, like just some different type of art get performed very well. So we'll go over the judge sheets.
Right.
So I did music and GE, so the judge sheets we're going to do is music, then visual, then GE, then penalties. So for music, I gave him, for composition, a 94 out of 100, and then achievement, a 93 out of 100. I just feel that there were some points that the composition just seemed a little bland to me. That's just a personal thing. It just seemed a little bland at some points. Sort of like what I said about that show choir the other day when we judged it. I sort of said that it's just a little bland. Just maybe there could have been more moving parts. But then I'll talk about the moving parts. There were some moving parts that there needed to have some more clarity. Just work a metronome, get that clarity. And I know you're moving. I don't know what tempo you guys are moving at because I was more focused on the music. Mitchell might be able to answer how fast you were going, but just, some more clarity. But you guys had some great blend. I thought the ensemble blend between all the voice parts were great, and
Right.
there was some intonation stuff, but that's also because it's indoor. It's different than outdoor marching bands, so
Right.
You're obviously going to have some issues. So that's my input on the music. So
I could totally agree with that. Although I really enjoyed listening to the music, I will say I was looking more visual, but I really enjoyed it. I think it was pretty darn cool. So visual, I gave it a 193 out of 100 or 200. I'm sorry. I really didn't see many errors except for a couple spacing and orientation errors, and then there was a little bit of a discrepancy in a carry with a contra. Like one was tilted too far.
Oh, I don't know
I from what I thought I saw, but I could have been wrong. Who knows? We'll figure it. It was. I personally thought it was a little, ever so slightly, a discrepancy.
Mm-hmm.
Before I say anything else, I'm gonna say that's crazy that you guys did it without shoes, going barefoot on a tarp.
I said that. It's a hard gym floor underneath them, isn't it? It's
You got a basketball court underneath you.
I guess it would be a little different doing it on turf, just not in the sun, because your feet would burn off. But I could go barefoot on turf maybe, but not on a hard floor like that. No way.
I don't know, because my feet. Yeah, I don't know. Sand feels weird to me. Turf. That would probably feel weird to me. That would be rough.
If I ever did, because you use, your heel. You start with your heel. So imagine having to march barefoot and hitting your heel on those counts like that on the hard floor.
That terrifies me. I really thought composition, use of design elements. Gavin and I didn't know the show theme before we started this or anything like that. Although I think as it continued on, it became a little bit more clear. And I think that they did a very good job visually portraying it, especially at the end with the tarp.
That was cool.
Or with the flyover. Yeah, it reminds me of Boston Crusaders, Carmel 2016 as well.
Inferno, Carolina Crown 2015.
Yeah.
The ballad.
Yeah, that too. Overall, it was just a cool effect. And I know you probably said something about that with GE. I assume.
I said nice tarp.
Yeah, we love tarps. But I didn't really find much other than like the spacing, that, and then a couple little discrepancies in style. But I think the style is pretty spot on throughout the entire like marching style. I think throughout the entire group is pretty spot on 98% of the time.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so
is that your
that's
movie?
all I really have to say about it.
Okay, well, I'll move on to the overall effect, or as we call it, general effect. GE. So, on your repertoire effectiveness, 96 out of 100, and then a communication effectiveness, a 95 out of 100. I just think that when I heard the audience, they were into it. The audience was very into it, and it even says audience engagement. I give you guys a plus on that. Just, I felt the engagement from the audience, and I was like, I agree. That was a good part of their show. I enjoyed it, so I was like clapping in my head. The mood and emotion, I gave you guys, I could feel your moods, and I personally did not figure out the show thing, but it's probably because I wasn't focusing on like the visual stuff, so I probably didn't pick out some of the stuff that I could have probably seen that would have told me the show theme. I was more just focused on the music and like the audience and what I thought about like props and the tarp and everything. And but I did feel the mood in the music. Like I felt the mood through all of your sections, and I could feel the changes as well.
Yeah,
I think the setup and the tarp on the your bottom tarp, the one you marched on, and the white tarp at the end, I thought that was very cool, and I wish that, I mean, don't like all indoor groups have tarps anyway.
Yeah, they have tarps that they bring on the floor.
Because I know
and
we
they
do.
set up.
So
I was supposed to be on tarp crew helping set up our A-Guards tarp this winter, but coronavirus and everything happened, and
I enjoyed the pacing.
unfortunately.
I enjoyed the pacing though. I thought the pacing of the show was like well done. Okay, well,
Yeah, I thought it was really involved, and I think it was really spot on there.
now we're gonna go to
I'm
the
gonna move
hardest
on
section.
timing and penalty. I'm gonna be honest, nothing.
Nothing. No penalties.
Nothing.
Well,
No, I didn't see.
that's.
I didn't see anything.
I know we were discussing how to judge that because that's our hardest sheet, and I looked over after the brass did something, and I'm like, oh, he's very close. That guy's very
they're
close.
living life on the edge. Living life on the edge to the max.
That man or woman was on the edge, and I was like, oh gosh, that's a little scary there. And I was like, oh, I don't know.
I've got a question for you though. So, how do you think that these like the competition in the store? Do you know how it is, like 33, 33, or like 40, 40, 20 or whatnot? Aspect?
Do I know how it's set up?
Yeah,
No.
because I know Bands of America and DCI are more GE heavy.
Oh, the captions. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't personally know, but since there's 4, and for marching band we usually have 3, and then drum corps is a different story. Drum corps is different.
Yeah.
And then for show choir
That's a
there's
whole
3.
other ballpark.
Like for Bands of America, it's general effect. You usually win that way, and then show choir you usually have best vocals, and that's who wins. Honestly, I don't know what would win in this. Maybe it's general effect like Bands of America, but I have no clue.
I think that's a research question we need to do
Yeah, I think that might be
for
a
next week.
thing that we can do for next Tuesday with the other hosts. Oh, there's more hosts.
Ooh.
Oh,
Whoa.
oh,
Whoa, you're dropping our secrets, homie.
Oh no, early in the week.
Woo.
Okay, well that's all the judge stuff. So, okay, I have a question now. You asked me a question, I'm gonna ask you one. So, the presentation of the show. How do you think it was?
I think it was really well done. I think I enjoyed it. I like how they laid it out. I like how they the style was different from I've seen a little bit of like Avon Indoor Winds. I've seen groups from like around here. I've seen a little bit. And this is like completely different than that, but in a good way.
Hawaiian way.
In a very Hawaiian way. We'll say that. I really think it was I feel like it was a great job. I feel like they did a great job presenting the show and just running this entire thing.
I agree. Like, for my first time judging it, I would say the overall presentation was very well executed, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'll hand it off to you to ask a question now.
So, I know we talked about this before, but how was the whole energy as a group? Do you think it was do you think it was used? Do you think it was the right type of energy, and do you think it was well done in that aspect?
I think there were some sections that had a lot of energy and it worked. But then I think there were some sections that may have had a little bit too little.
They let it down a little bit too much.
Yeah. But I think the end had a lot of energy, and I liked the ending. The ending I thought was cool.
Right. I do too. I think, I completely agree with everything you just said. I will turn it over to you if you have any questions.
Okay, so how do you think the sound and the visual compares to a normal marching band or a DCI group?
So I know we touched on this before we did the podcast, before we started recording. What I used the idea of just watching it, seeing how dance and everything, how the dance was incorporated and everything. I said it was like a color guard or a dance group with brass and woodwinds. When they're playing brass or woodwinds. I really think that it's a different. I think it's a different kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. I just think it was a good. Although I think it was a really good different vibe. The visual. I mean, I can't really say anything bad about the visual. I mean, it seems about right, like a marching band or a DCI group, in the fall or summer. Let's see, musically. I mean, obviously, it's not as big as a group. It's about probably 30 or 40 performers, tops. Mm-hmm. So, not what you see from, Tarpon or Carmel or any other of the big bands.
Yeah.
BOA.
No 5As.
I mean, yeah. But, there's also some 2A bands out there that can kill it.
Tarpon.
Hey, there's others, homie.
I know, but I'm in Tarpon. Of course I'm going to say that.
I mean, I don't blame you.
Who knows? Maybe we'll get moved up to a 3A when we come to Indy this upcoming year. If we get to come.
You're coming. That's not an if.
But we don't know about the coronavirus.
You will be here. Grand Nationals.
The coronavirus, homie.
I am all powerful. Snap. Coronavirus is gone.
Okay, I guess you're Thanos.
I am Thanos.
I'll hand it off to you for the final question.
What do you want to see in the future shows of these groups?
Well, this group this is my first show I've ever watched of them. Honestly, I might later today watch some more of these shows of just their ensemble, because do they have an indoor percussion and color guard, or is it just winds?
I think it's just winds.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I'm going to do some research on that, and I'm going to watch some more shows. I just think I want to see some more presence. Show everybody in America that you're a Hawaiian band that can kick some butt. You can do some stuff. You're not just some Hawaiian band that's not connected to America that can't do anything.
I hope we cover a fall show of theirs.
Oh, that would be cool. We'll probably will eventually.
The one they brought to Grand Nats, that was a pretty darn good done show, from what I remember seeing.
Do we know what place they got that year? Or is that a research question?
That's a research question for Horn Rank.
Hey, at Horn Rank, do the research for us.
Yeah, at Horn Rank, pull up your page, send us a text.
Okay, well, hope you're ready to introduce our next group. So go on ahead.
So we are going to do Rhythm X 2019. Neither of us, I'm going to be real again. I don't really know the show theme. So I think we're going to do this on the fly. But Rhythm X, from what I've heard, they're a very prominent WGI Wins group. they're almost like they're like the Blue Devils. I'm gonna say like the top 3 drum corps. You know, you've got them. You've got the top 3 BOA bands, or like you have a top 5, and then there's like for WGI it's Rhythm X. And I think that there's a couple others like Strike Winds from what I remember. I'm trying to remember exactly.
I've always heard from my percussion friends like Rhythm X, and I've always heard just Rhythm X all the time. So I'm interested. Because they have an indoor percussion, don't they? Or no?
They do.
They do? Okay, hopefully we'll cover that one day as well. But I've
I'm
always
pretty
heard.
certain they do.
Well, hopefully.
I know Strike does.
You would think
We'll
though.
figure that out.
You would think the Rhythm X, it's like percussion. You sort of, the rhythm section. You might have some percussion
Right.
indoor. So for this group, I'll be covering the visual and the penalties, and he'll be doing the music and GE. Okay.
Yeah,
So
it'll be fun.
how it says on our little sheet here, it says you asked me the first 3 questions this time. So go on ahead.
So, since you are doing visual, what do you want to see movement and drill wise?
So obviously, I'm going to sort of relate it to what you said before. I wanted to like obviously look like a professional ensemble that, you know, it could be a little band that you just throw out there into the drum corps, like BOA world, just a band that can do drill excellent, no matter what type of floor they're on, no matter their shoes or without shoes, like the other group, like, and just execute their movement beautifully and all in time and just have some nice clarity to their movement.
Right. I think that this definitely the phrase musician, your top half of your body is musician and your lower half is an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I think especially here.
Yeah.
That's where this is
Especially,
I think that phrase completely just embodies the entirement of WGI.
especially since
Or at
it's,
least wind percussion.
especially since it's a smaller group as well, that these judges
Right.
can pick out anything. Like, people can get
Yeah.
away in drum corps and bands of America with some stuff, but because you're on this giant football field and you have people next to you all the time. But these groups are usually 30 to 40 performers, and you can easily pick it out. It's only a basketball court. They do it in basketball. They can pick out. They can pick out basketball players. I'm pretty sure they can pick out some wind players if they're up there.
Yep, I agree. How are you going to be judging the penalties and timing scores?
So, again, this is our hardest thing. So obviously, if I see him go out of line, it's going to be 0.1 per that occurrence. So
Right.
I think we're supposed to be having like 93 point something, but I don't want to worry about that. So,
Something like that.
and then obviously I'm gonna have to look at their minimum and maximum performance times and just rate it based off of that.
All right. So I think we pretty much alluded to this last one here. What do you think of the theme of the show, costuming and props? We're going to go in blind.
We're going in blind, yeah. I think I've only opened it up and I've only seen like one costume, but I literally opened it and then joined the call. So I don't know.
Right.
All I saw was Rhythm X 2019. So that's
Yep.
all.
We'll figure it out.
We'll see.
We'll go do it. We'll figure it out on the fly, and it'll be good. It'll be fun.
So I guess it's my turn to ask questions. Okay, so you're doing music this time. What do you want to hear
Okay.
from the whole ensemble? Blend-wise, intonation-wise, section-wise, what do you want to hear?
Well, given that this is like Rhythm X and like one of the more prominent like groups, indoor winds groups, and just indoor groups in general, I really think that because I think there's a lot of people who do DCI that are in these groups, in these horn lines. So I think I'm looking for the inner. We're gonna call it the inner embodiment of DCI, like the ability to play like these really technical lines, like these. I think it'll be interesting. We'll see. I'm kind of curious to see how they present their stuff. Their show.
I'm also curious because I've always heard a lot about Rhythm X, and I don't know if anyone in Boston is in indoor winds. I'm not sure. I should do some research on that. But like,
Yeah.
Overall, I think that it's going to be a very great show to judge as well, since it's obviously one of the top of their class. So
Right.
it'll be cool. So you have not been able, just like I did, you have not gotten to judge really general effects in like music.
Oh, GE.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to really do that. So how are you going to do that?
I'm gonna base it off of like what I get from this show. Like at the end of it, I think I'm not really gonna comment too much on GE throughout the entire. I think I'm gonna leave it for the end to see what the end makes me feel, and like what my overall thoughts of the show were.
I
I
agree.
think that's what I'm gonna base my GE off of.
I sort of did that at my end. I was like, I wanted to see what the ending brought me. Where did I end and where did I start? So it's like a resolution, sort of like where is this show taking me, and if I have a great effect on it.
Right.
So
I think that's a pretty fair assumption to make.
we talked about this with the last group. How do you think this crowd is going to respond?
Well, given that it's Rhythm X, I think they'll all respond in a positive way. Because obviously you see this group, this WGI group that, like we said a little bit before, that they're at the top of their class and like they're one of the more prominent ones, excuse me. So I think that this will be all positive. I think there'll all be a lot of positive responses.
I agree. So, you know what? Without further ado, let's get into the mech. So I will be doing timing and penalties, and visual. He'll be doing music and
GE.
There we go. Okay. Well, we'll be right back with the judge tapes. Hello, everybody. So we're doing Rhythm X 2019. I will be doing visual and timing penalties. So let's get this on the road. This is nice. Very nice. I think, just for my first response, A Day in the Life, some Beatles. Nice. Okay, the video is loading.
A Day in the Life.
That is loud. Hold on, let me turn this down.
Ladies Performance Association is proud
Oh,
to
they're all
present
dressed like Sergeant
Rhythm X.
Pepper. That's cool. Nice. I like that. That's cool. I like that they're all their starting drill's all cool. The uniforms are nice. Spacing is accurate. Reminds me of Blue Coast 2019 and our show this last year. The set's good. Nice spacing, guys. I don't see... Maybe the trumpet on the end on the left might be a little bit too close, but overall, great spacing. Movement's all the same. I like it. Nice technique. Sound great. I love that tarp. Well, there was some inconsistencies in that opening up circle drill for the woodwinds. Watch that straight line in the center. That's cool. I like that. No penalties yet. spacing, nice ripple. Nice ripples. Your timing is very accurate. I love that. Oh, watch that straight line. You did not get to that spot on time. Nice design.
You just said to the orchestra, right, 15 bars, all you got to do is start on whatever is your lowest note of your instrument. And by the time the end of those 15 bars is arrived, you've got to be at the top note of your instrument.
That's nice.
The song was actually just kind of one of our first kind of surreal songs. The words were images and stuff, but they didn't actually mean anything.
I do like that part.
It was pulled out of newspapers a lot of it.
That's a close to some penalties, but not close enough. The right line. Watch that right line. Nice spacing. The technique is all basically the same. Which is great. To the side effect, that's great. Some inconsistencies with that jazz running technique there. Oh, those lines. Watch those diagonals.
Very essence of every atom in our body.
Yeah, mellophones and trumpets. Watch that tone. Oh. Okay, so mellophones, make sure your arms are the same level. Don't overextend your right arm. Some of you are doing that and some of you aren't. You gotta watch that horn up. Well, actually, all brass now. I'm looking at inconsistencies in that playing position with the arms. It should be level. That's your technique.
All you need is love, you know?
Great job, guys. Very much enjoyed that performance. I always love Beatle shows. Beatle shows are always very entertaining to watch. They're always great experiences. Man, great job, guys. There was no penalties, in my opinion. No penalties, so... penalty score, not going to really deduct anything. So, 100 on that. Okay, so, visual, sorry. So, visual. Man, great job, guys. I like that a lot. That was a great performance, and, oh, man. I always loved Beatle-themed shows. Because it's such great music, so they're always very entertaining to watch. Well... You know what? I'm going to take some moment to think about this. I'll tell you my scores after you listen to Mitchell's tape.
Hello, everyone. So, welcome back. Now we're going to be doing Rhythm X, their Win show, A Day in a Life from 2019. I'm going to be doing the music and the general effect captions. So, looking forward to this, as this is one of the more prominent WGI Wins groups, especially independent groups. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Sorry about that. All right. Okay. There we go. Well, someone's excited. The crowd looks excited. The crowd seems excited. Interesting. Very, very interesting little part for the woodwinds. Almost has some sort of like a little mysterious vibe. Oh, wait, you know what? It's the Beatles. That's what it is. Okay, it's on their tarp. I am smart. Alright, so this is a show about the Beatles. Interesting. Very well done, very characteristic sounds on each instrument. A little bit of a inconsistency in the trumpet section right there. And then they come front and center. There's a little part there clashes, but then they resolve, and it sounds great. There's the Beatles. Nice little trumpet duet there. All right, well, I've heard this, you know, the Blue Coats. Okay, a little bit of a shift there on the mellophone. Really nice blend overall as an ensemble, though. I really enjoy this. This is really cool. Okay. Oh, I thought they were gonna play a chord. Nice, clean, low brass. Interesting. Very good composure, I will say, though. Very dissonant. Alright, interesting sax solo. Nice little sax solo there. It's really interesting. And then the entire ensemble playing background. Good job. And then, nice woodwind part right there. I think that was well done. And they're all facing off stage. And they disperse. Interesting. Very, very strong brass section. Trumpet and mellophone feature. Nice run, woodwinds. A little bit of it wasn't absolutely clean, but it was pretty clean. Alright, nice bright brass sound. Very strong, confident sound. And there's the confident brass. There's the almost drum corps. It sounds like drum corps brass. All right. Well done. That was very well done. I see why they're a top WGI group. I think that was really, really, really well done. So hats off to you guys. General effect, I really enjoyed it. I got a really cool vibe off of it, and the Bluecoats obviously did the Beatles stuff too, so I think that was cool. I thought both shows were really cool, so, and obviously this isn't a direct comparison to the Bluecoats, but I think I got the same vibes from both shows, and I see why they were as strong as they were. So, thank you for performing this and letting me listen to this. So hopefully we will cover another Rhythm X show at some point soon. All right, thank you.
Welcome back from those judge tapes. So that was Rhythm X. So we're going to go through the judge sheets like we did last time. Music, then visual, then GE, then penalties. So, Mitchell, why don't you take us away with that music sheet?
All right. So I really enjoyed it. It was very strong. I really didn't have, my only thing about it is I'm not a huge fan of the Beatles, but they did it well. They did it well for sure. It wasn't, but that's just a personal thing.
Yeah, of
but
course.
They did it really well. I will say they did it really well because I really feel like the sonority, the musicality, I feel like it was all there. I think it was just the theme that I wasn't 100% sold on.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's
but
with all
everyone
judges.
has
They all have an
those.
opinion. Everyone has an opinion.
I will say, though, I felt like there were definitely parts that was a little bit too trumpet heavy and too... I feel like there were a couple trumpets sticking out every once in a while.
I agree.
It was still good. It was still really, really, really good.
I feel like there was
Although
sometimes
I gave
that the woodwinds...
it was...
There was times
I
that the
feel like they
woodwinds...
could have balanced a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree, because, like, going off to your balance thing, I agree about the trumpet thing, but then I also think that the brass sort of overplayed the woodwinds at times. So I could not hear, I could not hear any woodwinds.
I could totally get behind that. That makes sense. Let's see. And due to that, I gave it a 90 on composition because I have a feeling it was just the part in general.
Mm-hmm.
That I really wasn't a huge... It was really good still. I just wasn't a huge overall. Like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever heard. Like, I wasn't... It was good. It was really good, though. And then achievement, I think because it was, I think it was because of the scoring, but I gave them a 98 on it, 98 out of 100, because they did it well. They definitely did it well. Ensemble cohesion, I think that was really well done. Rhythmic accuracy, I think that was really well done. There was a mellow solo, did you?
Oh, I was not paying attention to that.
Okay, yeah, they tripped a couple of notes in that, but it's okay. There were a couple features that there were a couple features that just didn't seem as clean.
I agree. I think I've said something about that.
But I really can't dog them all that much on it. I'm curious to hear your visual. What your thoughts on visual are.
So visual, I thought was outstanding. They did a lot of great things with their visual movement, and I think what these groups have in common that their movement was very in time together. I enjoyed how in time and locked in they were, but there was always some diagonals and some lines, and I did see some inconsistencies with the holding of the instruments at playing position. And Mitchell can see what I'm doing.
I can totally see that.
They were
I can
doing
get
this.
behind that.
They were doing this.
Oh yeah.
The hyperextending of your shoulder with the right arm, with especially mellophones. You usually most people have them all leveled, so it's more comfortable, and it's like I think almost every group does that now, since it's healthier and it's a better shape for your body, and it won't make you as tired. But I just saw some inconsistencies there. But overall achievement gave you a 95, and composition 97. I very much enjoyed the show. I'm a big Beatles fan. I loved the tarp. I loved the music, but that's my opinion. So
at first I didn't know what the show was about, and then I took a closer look at the tarp, and I was like, oh, okay, I get this now.
They're all just a Sgt. Pepper, bro.
Okay, all right, fine.
Okay, I'll hand it off to you for GE.
So GE, we're gonna go into that one. So, based what I said before, I'm not a huge fan of the Beatles, but it was a creative theme, and it was really well done. So I gave them a 90 out of 100 on the effectiveness. I feel like they communicated it really well, though, so I gave them a 98 out of 100 on that.
I agree.
I just, again, I'm not a huge fan. I'll listen to the Beatles. Like, hey, this is cool. That's just not my taste in music.
Strawberry Fields, right there.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, is that all the general effect comments?
Yeah, I mean, it was really good, well done. They did as much of the theme as they could.
Yeah. So, going off of that, I will say my penalties. No penalties. Everyone was very close on that left side at one point, and I was like, it's nervous. But yeah, they're fine. There's no penalties, none. So
yeah, both groups lived on the edge for a little bit. They like to live dangerously.
They're daring. The judges are like, oh, you're lucky. Like,
yeah, I'll get you next time.
next year.
You'll do it again. You'll get it. I'll get it.
There's gonna be a time when someone loses their balance. It's like, oh, nobody fall out, haha. Like
that happened to me in 2017 when we were all on our one leg for Serenity in national finals. I fell. My leg, and I could not keep balance.
I tripped onto the Revolution Remix prop this year in Orlando. So I opened the door to get out, and then someone's supposed to hold it for me. The person forgot to hold it, so my shoe got caught in the door, and I fly down the prop, and I almost fell into the front ensemble.
Was this prelims or finals?
It was prelims. Thank God it wasn't finals. We probably would have been third.
Finals? That would have been very unfortunate.
Yeah, broke a leg. I'll be a vocalist as well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go into our final 4 questions, then we'll call it a day. So, how do you feel about the presentation of the show? I know it wasn't your favorite, but just some credit for it deserves, like you said. So, what do you think?
I will give credit where credit is due. I think it was really well done. Personally, I know you probably have the same comments and plus even more.
I just like
So,
the overall
you know-
aspect and like energy they gave of it.
Right. Yeah, I could feel the energy. I could totally get behind that energy.
Yeah.
And you know that I think that's why they're one of the top groups. They have that energy. They have that certain energy that some groups just have.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I
hand it off
think
to
you
you.
see some groups, some marching bands walk out on the field. You know, they're ready to throw down.
Especially in finals.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. All right, I'm gonna go on to this one. Overall, how do you think the whole energy was a group? I think we just talked
Yeah,
about that.
we just talked about that. It was
Somewhere along
well
the
placed.
lines.
Very well placed.
Just a quick question though. So, so obviously this is our first Rhythm X show that both of us have seen. What do you think that you're gonna look for in like future shows? If we review I'm sure we will. We will review future shows and like other shows from Rhythm X.
Well, I think that overall, because we sort of had a little miscommunication, so we did see that Rhythm X does have an indoor percussion, so it's gonna be. I think
Yes.
it's gonna be great to go watch one of those eventually, and I think overall, after seeing that show, I'm personally excited to judge another one of their shows because they got some good energy and good themes, in my opinion. So I'm excited, and I'll close off with this question. So. How do you? I know, like we sort of talked about the energy and how it compares to Bands of America and DCI, but how do you think they performed visually and musically to like a normal group?
Well, I feel like I heard definite points where it reminded me of a drum corps or a top BOA band.
I agree.
Although there were some moments where I just wasn't sure.
Yeah,
I feel like there were more moments of the first rather than the second.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think there were a couple moments where I had my doubts.
I could definitely see that.
Personally, I was looking for them to just don't give me any doubt, just push it. But you know, that could just also be the entire just general show. I think that once I get more of a general like perspective of the groups themselves, I think that'll change.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we'll eventually get a new look on these types of shows when we further our adventures into Indoor Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of Indoor Tuesdays, that's going to conclude it for today. We're going to announce our little next week. Next week is Broken City 2019 and Pulse Percussion 2019. So 2 percussion groups. So that would be cool. I wish one was a Rhythm X, though.
Yeah?
I want to see
Yeah,
that.
the next one from 2019 looked pretty cool.
Yeah, our CEO sent us a link to the indoor percussion, and it was like just a simple mistake, and we opened it, and I was like, huh, that's nice. I want to judge that one.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. Those aren't props. Those are quads.
I see quads. I thought those were little rocks for a minute, and I'm like, no, that's a quad. That's a quad.
No, that's a quad. There's a base. There's a base on the left side of the screen. And I clicked 3 minutes into the video because I'm like, okay, you know what? That might be just me like playing myself.
Maybe
And I just
they
hear
are
snare
props.
jump. And I just hear snares. I just hear snares playing a lick, and I'm like, okay, well, I might have goofed somehow.
Well,
But, it all turned out. It's all good.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Life goes on.
hope you guys enjoyed the podcast on our first installment of Indoor Tuesday, and we keep dropping the hints through the week. We got some new hosts coming along. Some new hosts. Maybe three, maybe 2. Who knows? Maybe. So we'll see.
That sounds like a good number.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Closing comments, go to the Instagram, get that audition information, and of course, always share these podcasts with the people in these groups or anyone that you know, and we'll close it here. So that was Gavin Ray giving his spiel and
Mitchell Urban. That was fun. Let's do it again next time.
okay, well, we'll see you tomorrow for Sit Down Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Yes, sir.